and we go to Seattle. We said it might be the game of the year, and then it outlived the expectations. Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, what a night. Pick it up early third quarter. Seahawks down 13-7, but not for long. Kenneth Walker III, Harry, they're not going to get him.
Anybody that has a Roman numeral after their last name, yeah, that guy's a good player.
Way to go, Doogie the fourth.
I. Seahawks take a 14-13 lead, but this has been Wallace with a big return, tackled down at the 1, but off the turnover, Darnold not happy. Rams looking to capitalize. Rams have a 1st and goal. That's Blake Corum. He punches it in. So the Rams have a 23-14 lead. And then final snap of the third quarter, same score. Rams on a 3rd and 3. Puka Nacua, what a night.
It was unbelievable. Guys, he had 225 yards last night in what was a very, very turbulent day and week for Puka Nacua. He was unbelievable on the field.
And that takes us to the 4th quarter, same drive. Rams 3rd and goal. Where's he throwing this? Did anyone watch this multiple? Just look at this.
I created this no-look stuff. Eat my beer, Patrick Mahomes.
That's the MVP
That's crazy
throw.
work.
Percent chance of winning this game, he said, in foreshadowing fashion, because then the craziness would begin. And Peter, you were telling me that
Mid-season acquisition, Shaheed has been huge for Seattle.
they go for the 2 and get it. So it's 30-22, and then it's Darnold and Bart. A.J. Barner is wide open.
We call this the rollout throwback, dog. Reservation for 6. Here I come.
Seahawks down 30-28, and Zach Charbonnet just sort of mindlessly picks it up, not thinking a whole lot about it. But wait just a minute, Peter, what's the rule?
One of the most bizarre calls of all time. It is ruled a lateral and then a pickup. That is a score. By the letter of the law, that is a 2-point.
Come miss for the Rams. McVay can't believe it. McDonald loves it. We're headed to overtime. In the overtime, who are you looking for through for 457?
Let them know, Pope.
So you know the rules. And they're down 7. They get one more chance here. They can go down and they can tie it or they can win it. And it's Darnold and it's just Cooper Kupp against his former team.
Harry.
I love this bench route. Cooper Kupp, toe drag, shouty is what they call him. A valuable wide receiver, a guy that you can trust in the biggest moment.
Huge fumble against his former team earlier in the game, too.
And then the big receiver, of course, for this team is JSN. Jackson Smith and Jigba,
Let's tie it up.
37-37.
Let's tie it up.
Why do they have to go for the 2?
They lost to him earlier in the season. You would lose the tiebreaker in the division if you don't go for 2 here.
So they have to go for the 2. And they get
Unsung
it.
hero.
It's Eric Saubert. And oh my God, the Seahawks have won.
Where's my scouting
It's the
report?
first win in franchise history when trailing by 16 or more in the 4th quarter. Darnold threw for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter and overtime. The Seahawks clinch a playoff spot. They win an instant classic, 38-37. They are now in the driver's seat for the 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. Number 1 takeaway, Harry.
I thought Sam Darnold handled the adversity. It started to trend towards, oh, here we go again. Sam Darnold is seeing ghosts. I even tweeted that, oh, man, he's seeing ghosts again. And then Sam Darnold started throwing that football necessary to be able to get this victory.
I worked in a press box for many, many years. I can tell you what was going on here. Around the 3rd quarter, after the 2nd interception, the Kobe Turner one, where they're down 16 points, you have the article written. Darnold can't win a big game. He pees down his leg whenever it matters. And once again, Darnold's going to hold a team back from getting to where they want to get. He completely rewrote his own narrative. Suddenly they are in the driver's seat in the NFC West. They are in the driver's seat in the NFC. And if you're looking at the landscape of the entire NFL, they might be in the driver's seat for the Super Bowl right now over the way he played over the final 15 minutes.
How about Mike McDonald, though? Telling them, hey, we're going to continue to go with you, Sam Darnold, infusing that confidence into the young quarterback. That last throw, cover 2, teardrop, that has to be the perfect Eli Manning drop into the 144 yards in the 4th quarter. And Jigba was shut down in the first half. Second half, he had 96 yards. Did they win it or did the Rams lose it? That's the question they have to ask themselves. Now they find themselves in a tough spot, with San Francisco potentially having the opportunity to jump them.
So the Seahawks control their own destiny in the NFC West, and so do the San Francisco 49ers. We'll dive into all of those permutations as we continue. But as you can see, Seahawks now overwhelmingly the team to beat in the NFC according to our analytics. From our gambling perspective, Joe Fortenbaugh, what do we need to know?
I come away from this game feeling better about the Rams than I do the Seahawks. You're right about Darnold. We kind of rewrote it, but if you don't get the punt return touchdown, if you don't get the missed field goal, if you don't get the fluky 2-point conversion, what ends up happening? You lose that game, and we're still saying the same thing today. The Rams just Matthew Stafford threw for what?
You look at the list of things that went wrong for the Rams in this ball game. Early red zone woes, right? You had that missed touchdown throw to Puka Nacua by Matthew Stafford, a missed field goal, a penalty that took a touchdown away, and then that punt return that you allowed to be returned for a touchdown. All those things happened, and the Rams still probably should have won this football.
But they need a lot of things to happen. I understand that, but this is too late.
They have to go on the road the whole
I need to ask that question, right, because this is late in the season. If this was week 5, I would be completely agreeing with you. Right. But we're talking about these teams have 2 games left in some cases, and the Rams are the ones who have, I'm not going to say no chance, but by far the least chance of having home field advantage.
Okay, so number 1, you're still not dead to win the division, but let's assume you are. Where are you going for that first playoff game?
Tampa, Carolina.
Atlanta,
but here's the...
That's one. Go ahead.
But here's the difference, right? As a road warrior, somebody that always had to go on the road and play in road games, that's an extra game that maybe Seattle don't have to play. Injuries. And you talk about the injuries and things that happen and the fatigue that happens when you play playoff football.
Right, but finish the thought. So
everybody else,
you're a favorite in the first
You're
game.
going to be laying 7 in the first game at Atlanta, Tampa, Carolina, whoever it's going to be. You win that game, then who you're going to get next? Like all the way through, Green Bay's banged up, missing Micah Parsons. If it's the Bears, we all know that they're on shaky ground. The Eagles are a team nobody trusts. Ultimately, the path goes back through Seattle, where last night without Devontae Adams,
I disagree. Joe, I think it's a
yards.
huge loss.
Yeah,
I think it's massive. You have Devontae Adams with a hamstring. You win last night. Maybe you don't have to rush him.
Get the rest.
You got to play these games. I think it matters.
Oh, there's no question it matters, but that doesn't mean they aren't the best team. The best team doesn't always win. I'm not sure the better team won last night, but that's not what matters. Right now, the Seahawks are in the driver's seat. We'll have much, much more on this overtime.
Are you not entertained?
We are fired up and ready to roll. Bartholomew, we're going to have to strap him down today. Maybe the game of the NFL season lived up to all of the hype last night in Seattle. We will be all over that in a matter of moments. But we begin with the countdown right now. For the college guys are here. College first impressions from Jordan Rogers and Greg McElroy and Josh Pate. We are just under 12 hours to Alabama, Oklahoma. Greg, what is your first impression of this SEC rematch?
Well, Greeny, I want to see Alabama come out and be aggressive offensively. It feels like the last month of the season, since their most recent bye, starting with the LSU game all the way through the Auburn game and then into the Georgia game, they've been playing not to lose. Now that they're in, the pressure's off. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but they're in the field. Go throw a punch. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. And I feel like they need to turn into the hunter as opposed to the hunted, because that's kind of the way they've played for the last month of the year.
Josh Pate, is this a Ty Simpson game?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, last game, Greeny, they ended up not starting a drive, did Alabama, better than their own 30. And OU started 4 drives in Bama territory. And a lot of that had to do with turnovers, but it also had to do with just a lot of 3 and outs, no sustained drives. Look, a punt near midfield would not be the worst thing in the world for Alabama here. A bunch of punts after 3 and out inside their own territory would be the worst thing in the world.
Jordan, how about this quarterback matchup? We got 2 guys who at different times of the season were talked about in the Heisman conversation, John Mateer and Ty Simpson. How do you see the matchup tonight?
Yeah, to me, this one comes down to Alabama's protection. They're going to be healthier. Jam Miller should be back. Josh Cuevas, the tight end, both those guys crucial in protection. Can they give a clean pocket to Ty Simpson? Because I still believe the body of work tells us he's one of the best in the country in a clean pocket, when he can handle the pressure, when he can be accurate downfield without stuffing his face. That hasn't been the case the last couple of weeks. So can this Alabama defense hold up this time against Oklahoma? They didn't last time. 4 sacks, 2 turnovers came on that pressure against Ty Simpson.
All right, so all eyes on that tonight. Then tomorrow, the early game is Texas A&M at home against Miami. Jordan, I will start with you. What's your first impression of this matchup?
Yeah, great quarterback matchup with Carson Beck and Marcel Reed. But to me, this is going to come down to, can Texas A&M stop the run? And that's for 2 reasons. The first, they couldn't do that against Texas. They give up 9 rushes of 10 or more yards. They've given up 3.3 yards after contact this year. That's 130th in the country. If you can't slow down the run, then you can't let your third down defense get after Carson Beck. And they're the best third down defense in the country. If they can force second long, third long, then they can force Carson Beck in some turnovers. And that's what we've seen be their Achilles heel in their 2 losses so far.
So, Pate, is this the Carson Beck game?
It's a Miami offense game. It's not just a Carson Beck game. I think if this falls squarely on the shoulders of Carson Beck, you've kind of done him a disservice on the road in this environment. Back to Jordan's point, he's talking about whether A&M can stop the run. Well, that's what you got to find out. At some point, Mario Cristobal comes to Miami. He assembles this stockpile of big bodies along the offensive line, and they do this, Greeny. They talk about this. Well, this is when you do that thing right there. That's when you impose your will and you take away their ability to rush the passer because it's constantly 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. So it's a Miami collective offensive effort they need.
Greg, final thought from you on this one. You'll be on the call tomorrow.
We're going to talk a lot about the quarterbacks and how good they are. Guys, I'm looking at the personnel along the defensive line for both teams. Cassius Howell for Texas A&M. The duo of Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain for Miami. These guys all, I think, will ultimately come off the board in the first round. These guys are difference makers. And I'm looking at the weapons at wide receiver. KC Concepcion is lightning in the bottle. He's Malik Neighbors 2.0 at the college level. Going to be a big-time pro. And then on the other side, the true freshman, Malachi Toney, who not only is an outstanding wide receiver, but they've used him in Wildcat packages. He's a game changer, guys, as a true freshman. He's only 17 years old.
All right, so we'll be all over this all morning long as we are counting it down for the first round of the college football playoff. You guys stay close by. Meanwhile, I get my NFL crew ready to roll here.